Alright, Josh, I have some news. I wouldn't do this to anyone but you. I'm so sorry. But I signed you up to compete in a Jiu Jitsu tournament this weekend.
Are you kidding me right now?
Before you say I'm a terrible friend, you should know that Josh and I have been friends since high school wrestling. He's currently visiting me in LA to help film some videos, and since he's a state champ, a local jiu-jitsu tournament should be no big deal. Except for the fact that this will be his first jiu-jitsu competition ever, and one other minor detail.
The no-gi naga? You're tripping, dude. A gi tournament? Oh my god.
For those who may not know, there's two types of jiu-jitsu, gi and no-gi. The gi is derived from judo and is worn in traditional jiu-jitsu practice, where you use the gi to control and submit your opponent. In no-gi, you can't grab your opponent's clothing, so it's more closely related to the grappling we see in MMA and wrestling. And with Josh's wrestling pedigree, he can hang with most higher belts in no-gi, but since he's only worn the gi a couple of times in his life, the majority of which being during this past week while he's been visiting me and training for this competition without even knowing it, there's no guarantee that he'll do well.
A gi tournament?
And to add even more pressure, he'll be competing in two divisions. One is against guys in his weight class, and the other is the absolute division, where there's no weight classes and he could theoretically face someone 100 pounds heavier. And for the final twist, I agreed to give Josh a small cash prize if he won both divisions.
If you win the whole thing, since you saved me $500 in the last video, I'll give you $500.
Alright, sounds good. I think I can win it.
You could definitely win it.
And just like that, it was competition day. Josh weighed in, I taught him how to tie his belt.
Why you gotta be behind me like that? I don't like this.
And he was ready for his first match. He was given a bye in the first round, so we're starting things off in the semifinals. This may be a white belt bracket, but some white belts can be pretty tough. This guy fights out of an MMA gym and had some pretty intense cauliflower ear. Josh uses a hand fake to set up a beautiful double leg and gets 2 points for the takedown.
Very nice.
I'm telling him from the sidelines to crossface, get an underhook, and take his time. He has plenty of matches ahead of him, and since he didn't have a chance to properly prepare for this competition, it's in his best interest to save his energy, especially if he wants to defeat the monsters he'll be facing in the absolute division. But back to the current match. As he's trying to pass, he gets caught in lockdown, and his opponent uses it to elevate his hips and enter into deep half. Josh doesn't know what lockdown or deep half is, and even less so how to defend them, but he's still able to find his balance and settle for close guard. I knew he would end up here, which is why we went over the log splitter the day before, but instead, Josh opts to defend a triangle and 2 arm bars until time runs out. And even the ref seemed to be impressed by his defense.
Psych!
Now Josh is on to the finals of his first bracket to face Alberto, a tough competitor who displayed some good judo in his previous match. We start off with some good old gi wrestling. Once grips are solidified in the gi, it can be tough to use typical wrestling setups. So Josh tries to get his hips involved, and his opponent puts him in a front headlock as they go out of bounds. White belt matches are so much fun to watch. We got the aggressive gi adjustment, and then the ref asks Josh to turn around to check the band on his belt, and then completely leaves him hanging. Here Josh is able to get a shot off before his opponent gets grips, and finishes the single leg with a trip. He uses the pressure from his crossface and underhook to pass the guard for 3 points, but then gets put right back into half guard. He gets back to his good top pressure, but with his hips a little too high, his opponent's able to take advantage by bridging hard and bringing things back to the feet. Again, it's in Josh's best interest to conserve his energy if he wants to win the $500, but taking it easy just isn't in his nature. He's up by 5 points with short time left, but still goes for a sweep single and remains active until his opponent goes for an uchimata that he counters with heavy hips for another 2-point takedown. That's another victory for Josh and a first place finish in his weight division. But it wasn't even 60 seconds after this match that his name was called for his first fight in the absolute division.
Oh, thank God.
How did it feel?
Pretty good. Slightly tired. I don't think anybody can out-wrestle me.
I'm pretty confident in Josh's wrestling too, but heading into the quarterfinals of the absolute division, I did have some concerns about his gas tank. Josh takes a blast double right out of the gate to take an early lead. It's no surprise he's having success getting takedowns, but he's been struggling to score points once the fight is on the ground. Josh stacks his opponent, but he's able to re-guard. Then he grabs Josh's lapel, but Josh just big brothers his way out of it. Then he tries to pass the guard without pant grips and almost gets caught with a triangle. And then he reaches for the head.
No, posture. Good. Let him roll over, you're in a front headlock.
And narrowly escapes an armbar. Josh pulls out the victory in the first round, but every opponent is only going to get bigger and tougher from here. Moving on to the semifinals, Josh only needs to win 2 more matches to walk out of here with double gold and $500. But not only is this his largest opponent of the day, it's also by far his most technical. His opponent gets grips and tries to hit a boot scoot, but settles for playing guard instead. Josh takes an early lead with the 2-point takedown, but he quickly finds himself in trouble. Josh postures his way out, but there's an obvious pattern here. Once he's on the ground, Josh knows exactly where he wants to be, but he doesn't really know how to get there. Finding a submission is unlikely, passing the guard is a mystery, and getting swept is a near impossibility.
Nice, Josh. Nice, Josh.
So he stays heavy on top and rips his way out of every submission until the match is over. It's an exhausting game to play, but it's an exhilarating one to watch from the sidelines.
Nice, Josh. Posture, Josh.
Also watching from the sidelines is Tariq, the literal giant who fights the winner of this match in the finals. But first, Josh needs to escape this triangle. He gently places his opponent back on the ground, and then not so gently puts all of his weight into stacking him up on his shoulders. This is a great way to defend the triangle that Josh is doing purely out of wrestling instinct. Eventually, the weight is too much, and he brings the fight back to a neutral position. He takes a moment to catch his breath, and then goes right back on the attack.
Shoot. Nice, Josh.
He's a bit extended at first, but he brings his hips in to finish the double leg and take a 4-point lead. They get reset back in the middle with just 20 seconds left in the match. Josh is so close to another victory, but his opponent has other plans. It was damn close, but Josh guts it out to secure himself a spot in the finals, where we finally get to see if he'll win himself double gold and $500, or if the exhaustion, size discrepancy, and complete lack of preparation is just too much to overcome. But let's take a quick second to appreciate how good Josh looks in this gi. You've heard me talk about X Martial's no gi gear, but they also have everything you need for gi jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, or just looking good on the street. I told them I was surprising my wrestler friend with his first ever jiu-jitsu competition, and of course, they hooked it up just like they do for hundreds of athletes and creators to help make videos like this possible. So by going to xmartial.com, not only do you get some sweet gear at a discount by using promo code Ryan, but every purchase you make also goes back into supporting this community that we all love. Now back to the finals of the Absolute division. As they walk onto the mat, you can see just how much bigger Tariq is than Josh. For reference, Josh is 5'10" and 190 pounds, but that doesn't discourage him from shooting another double. The fact that he didn't finish the takedown had me a little worried. But you should know Josh well enough by now to know that this dude is not gonna stop. He takes a low single, which isn't the best tactical decision against a big man. Carrying all that weight is not ideal, and Tariq is in a great position to score. Josh tries to hit a dump, but gets his head stuffed into a deep sprawl. This is one of the worst positions you could be in, but Josh just keeps wrestling. With some head and hip awareness, Josh gets the takedown, but the relief is short-lived.
Nice, Josh.
He gets blasted out of side control, and his wrestler instinct takes over and grabs the leg. This is one of those positions that isn't the same in wrestling and Jiu Jitsu. In wrestling, this is a head outside single, but in Jiu Jitsu, especially Gi Jiu Jitsu, there's additional threats we need to consider. By holding onto this leg, Josh is inviting the crucifix, which can lead to collar chokes and back takes. But as Tariq steps around a face, Josh gets to a more familiar position. He just needs to finish a double leg without getting guillotined.
There we go, Josh. Get out of that. Fight the hand. Fight the hand.
He pops his head out, which is another 2-point takedown. He bodies a cross collar choke to the face, and then with 30 seconds left, Tariq attacks a Kimura. You can see Josh wincing in pain.
Grab your own side. Grab your own side. Wizard.
He just needs to hold on, but if Tariq gets a back take, he ties the match.
Come up. Come up.
Face, 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 face.
Nice, nice.
Josh is able to face and stay heavy on top and pulls out his 5th and final victory of the day. He got his 2 gold medals, a complimentary sword, and as promised, the prize money. Show Josh some love in the comments for accepting this challenge and sacrificing himself for our entertainment. Please consider subscribing to help me hit my goal of 100K by the end of the year, and check the description for more videos with Josh.